Got a smart new option out here for families who are looking for something that checks the major boxes without going neck deep in debt, but also gets away from that more conventional basic stick and tin style construction. If you prefer more of the laminated fiberglass aluminum construction and you just need something around 30 foot that's half ton tall to take your family out and you want plenty of space on a rainy day, I think you're going to like what we're going to see here with the new 26BHC, yeah, you know me, Bullet Classic series. This reminds me a lot of Bish's own 26BHS Go Play, just with a laminated shell. It gives you that super slide sofa and dinette for that rainy day coverage. It has a private front bedroom, and I like the dual split entry doors because to me it makes the whole space look and feel big. But something else that's helping that is the kitchen counter just runs really long against the campside wall, and it doesn't jut out like a peninsula, which does technically lose a little bit of counter space. But I think when you go through this thing, it could be argued it has some of the most functional counter space that I've seen in a 30-foot super slide bunkhouse, and I don't think it's necessarily lacking on counter space or storage. I also really like this cool little step storage thing that they did to get the kids to the upper bunk, so it's not a dedicated ladder, but you don't gotta heave-ho throw the kids into the upper bunk like some weird pirate shanty tune. The bathroom, pretty straightforward. I don't know what more you want in a bathroom, but it is a direct entry bathroom door, and usually you don't run into that until you're closer to 32 foot instead of 30 feet, and I think that's a major distinctive quality. Sometimes direct entry bathroom doors freak people out. I really like them because it cuts down on an immense amount of dirty foot traffic in the RV. Now, this is newer. I think this might actually be in the prototype phase because there's some stuff on this that hasn't matched the other Bullet Classics. So, before you make a final decision, I feel like I kind of like what I see, but maybe there's some things I don't. Double check our website or call our team and ask our local people to maybe get you some dedicated pictures of the one in stock to see how it actually looks, because I have a feeling it's going to look slightly different from this one today. Now, I like to put you in the driver's seat, first-person perspective style video. I will tell you, though, as we step inside this thing, right now the interior, this looks super warm colored, and then once we actually step in here, you see how it cooled right off. That's just a weird symptom of cameras doing what cameras do and not being in a controlled studio environment effectively. Overall, despite the fact that you have that kind of darker olive wood tone, it still feels big, open, light, and bright in here. And it's not an extra tall camper. This is 6'6" from floor to ceiling. It's not 6'9" like some of your, a lot of other stuff like Springdales and Hideouts are usually 6'9". But by going with lighter upper cabinets and then the darker olive lower, it opens the space up. And this is what I was saying. They didn't go with a peninsula countertop right here. It doesn't stick out at you. But I personally don't feel like it's lacking functional counter space or storage because they ran that kitchen cabinetry all the way across. Now, usually a more basic stick and tin camper like this is not built with the idea of sitting inside and watching TV. But if you want to, that is where they put their TV hookups. So it is directly across from the sofa. It's straight across from the slide out. It's at a more direct viewing entertainment instead of being a 90-degree neck wrecker left crank entertainment center, which allowed them to do the split French style double doors, old Fleetwood style right there, which makes the whole RV look and feel a little bit bigger. Also, it does something really important. It lets you cheat and use the bedroom window to give you some perception of campside windows. Now, to be fair, this is skewed because when I walked in, I left the entry door behind me. I'm not trying to cheat this. The entry door does have a window, but this RV is somewhat lacking on campside window coverage, although that extra large window they have right there is not offending me in the slightest. So let me get up here and move around. Now, again, I think this is on that prototype level. I'm a little confused. Some of these Bullet Classics, some of them I've seen today in this display have different refrigerators. Some of them have no floor ducting for the heating. This one has floor ducting for the heating. There have been some inconsistencies which make me think they're still ironing out the last of the hard decision points. And I don't yet have clarity at the time that I'm recording this as to why some of those inconsistencies are existing. So please keep that in mind. And again, remember that this footage might not 100% hard match the camper that we have in stock somewhere. No stovetop exhaust vent hood because they went with the bigger window, which makes me think, I will bet your paycheck, there's a tiny little 4-inch fart fan up here to help with some heat and cooking humidity exhaust. And yes, indeedly doodly, right there she be. You'll probably find another one of them over in the bathroom area. Let me kind of start back from the door here, because this is a big old super slide. And considering we don't have a peninsula, I have a suspicion this is going to be like flawless road mode access. We're going to be able to get all the way through the kitchen and the bedroom and the bunks and everything. It's very simple furniture setup. Just a basic jackknife sofa, a basic 2-bench double post knee knocker dinette. There's no doors. There's no access to the storage under the dinette except for taking the cushions and everything off. Both the sofa and the dinette can fold down into little sleepers. Again, it's a basic camper with a laminated shell. As we work our way over here, though, there's a couple things that I really appreciate. I appreciate that both the upper and lower bunks, which are 300-pound rated, according to the sticker up there, have some USB plugs for the kids. That's really cool. I don't like that it doesn't have a curtain. But I do really like this little storage stepladder dresser kind of combo. I think that's really cool. And that is a really sweet way for the kids to be able to get up and down there while also providing a functional storage solution. You might notice the window at the top bunk does open for airflow. The bottom one does not. This is gonna, I'm turning, and it's going to sound like I'm attempting to turn negative into a positive. I'm not intentionally doing it, but the fact that there are no curtains for the bunks, one of the problems people don't realize with enclosed corner bunks is the bottom bunk usually gets no airflow from the air conditioner. This one will, because it's open air. Now, a lot of people will look at a camper like this and say, oh, if only it didn't have bunks. Can't I just get it with an office or whatever? Factory doesn't do it a different way, but there's nothing under those bunks. I'll show you that later. You can absolutely tear those bunks out and make it do something else. And really, for the most part, this bathroom looks straightforward. Like there's plenty of space around the toilet, which I really appreciate. The direct entry bathroom door freaks some people out. And I will tell you, I would definitely be covering that window. It drives me nuts whenever I see a manufacturer make a camper like this without a privacy shade for that bathroom door. I try to just be fair and candid with you. I try to look at this like I was going to buy it, but I can solve for that. This does also have a deadbolt, so if you're freaked out about people walking in on you, you can literally reach the deadbolt from the toilet. And I do like this is some of that inconsistency factor I mentioned. In this one, they realized they need a place to hang towels. In some of the other bullets, they haven't necessarily done that. Now, stepping up here into the shower, if you're tall like me, it turns out you got a duct to get into it. And if you're tall like me, meaning 6 foot plus, your head's going to be all the way up in that skylight. It just is. And again, things I like, things I don't. I appreciate the mirror, but it's just a mirror. It's not a medicine cabinet. It's like when Bill was still just a Bill up on Capitol Hill and he wasn't yet a law. I guess it's really not like that at all. I do appreciate that the slide-out floor is carpetless. That's become, the industry standard now. It took the industry a long time to get there, but I am glad to see that they finally made that exchange and got away from so much of the carpeting in the RVs. The air conditioner in this is centralized, thankfully, because otherwise there'd be no way that your bedroom or bathroom or bunks would ever stay even remotely comfortable. Now, working over here into the kitchen, I'm going to get this open for you in just a second. I think there's a lot of really good storage space in here. I want to talk about the cooking setup on this, though. This has, you can see a 2-burner stovetop, which gives you a little more counter space, and it's a little friendlier if you're going to set a spoon next to the stove as you're cooking. Down here, I was of the impression, I thought these were supposed to be those air fryer convections. Again, this might be only a prototype because what I'm looking at right now is just a generic microwave. So again, double check with our local team members because I'm not currently able to get all of the clarity that I would prefer and you deserve at the time that I'm recording this. So please sort of bear with me there. Now, I think the most obvious use of this space, hello, reflection, is this be your pantry space, but it's tall enough. You might be able to use part of it for like kid dresser storage and then the remainder for pantry. It could be a little bit of a half and half flex space. And pardon my daily survival snacks that I have squirreled away in the fridge over here using some Keystone juice to keep my juice on ice, as it were. Now, up top here, this is pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry, magnet holdbacks, not hidden hinges on this series, but, you know, it is still hardwood cabinet door frames. And because they don't have a propane oven and they put the microwave below the stovetop, that allowed them to basically double the amount of overhead cabinet storage that you have in here. There is a lot of it. And that's before we even start looking down here, which one of the things I like is that they actually did not throw shelving below the sink, which sounds kind of backwards, but it also means that that is super wastebasket or like big pots and pans friendly. Although when we get over here past the drawers, because there's so much counter space, they had room for cabinets, that also could be a functional, I think very functional pots and pans space right there. I realize though, I haven't really showcased the seating and any of its alternate functions and or configurations. So let me give you a look at that, as my cat would say, right about meow. Actually, my cat doesn't say much. He just sort of stares at me with this angry face. Like, you know, I hate you, but you feed me, so I depend on you. You know, my wife gives me that face from time to time. That's interesting. I'm sure that's just a little coincidence, though. I always think it's funny, like, when you meet someone else's cat, and the cat is, like, hissing at you and swatting at you. They're like, oh, he likes you. It's like, your cat has a knife. Your cat is stabbing me. Your cat is literally stabbing me with a knife. And they're like, aw, he likes you. I'm like, I don't think he does. But hey, I can joke about cat owners, but I guess I am one myself now. We got one kid, one cat, one dog. But thankfully, the cat and the dog, both fellas. So now the guys outnumber the girls in the house 3-2. The bedroom is as basic can be, although I'm going to give them credit for putting household and USB plugs on both sides of the bed. The bed doesn't lift for storage. Instead, you can just slide stuff under it. I do want to make mention, this is a short queen bed. This is a 60 by 74 mattress. However, there is room in here. If you wanted to plop in a 60 by 80 true queen, you could. And before I forget, because if I don't show it, somebody yells at me in the comments every time, there are TV hookups up here in the corner. The other thing this floor plan has going for it, I'm suspecting, and I think we're about to verify, is I think this thing has like some A- level road mode travel access. Yes, sir. That is what I thought right there. So standing at the entry door where this footage began, I'm going to back my butt up into the bedroom. You can probably hear the bedroom plastic crinkling, but just to give you the proof, I am in the bedroom. You can see the bedroom doors there. Somebody asked me one time, how can you prove this RV has a roof? And don't tell me it's because it has a ceiling. And I still have not recovered from the stroke that statement gave me. One thing I will say, oh, wait a minute. The camper that I'm in is not AccuSlide. This is Exact Slide, which I think I need to verify. Please ask our team to verify. I think it means you could even use the seating in this RV while it is retracted. That might bump it up from A- to A+ road mode, because at that stage, it means you have lost literally absolutely nothing. Because let's even assume you can't sit in the slide. Let's work under that assumption. I can get to the bedroom. I can get to the bunks. I can get to the kitchen. I can get to the bathroom, all without ever touching a button. And if you appreciate those extra insights, hit that subscribe button. We'll hop outdoors. Now, I think a lot of people are going to be asking, is this half-ton towable? And I think that there's some real potential there. It's going to depend on some circumstance. It might depend on the specific half-ton you have, and it also might depend on the terrain and the road conditions that you're going to be pulling this through, because where you go is just as important as what you tow. What I mean is flat landing versus mountains, two very different scenarios. If I was going to flat land this around southern Michigan with a late model tow package half ton, I wouldn't even worry about it. If I was going to go through some mountains, yeah, I'm probably going to step my vehicle up, you know. The front pass-through compartment here gets a little skinnier on the other side because of the location of things like the water heater and the water fill hookups and whatnot. The big black box that you saw over there on the right-hand side, these Bullet Classics do not have standard solar. If I'm not mistaken, there's a 200-watt optional solar, or 220-watt rather, optional solar package you can get. And of course, at our stores, we can outfit you with a variety of different solar solutions as well. I do appreciate the power tongue jack still being on the front. Some brands, when they start trying to get less expensive, which is unapologetically what Bullet Classic is. From Classic, you step up to Crossfire, and then to Bullet Premium, I think is what it's called, something like that. They were simpler here, but I don't know that they were necessarily cutthroat. Some folks might argue that they went a little cheap here and there. Like, let's be fair. Let's look at the steps for the entry doors. Some people like the fact that this doesn't have those fold-out stable steps. I don't know that I like the fact that the rear bathroom entry door has only a 2-step, because, you know, if you've got a little kid, or like, you know, I camped with a grandmother who had endured multiple knee replacements. That is fairly high off the ground. And I think that if you're not paying attention, I could see somebody falling. So be smart and be cautious about that. Educate the kids, you know. The other thing is that direct entry bathroom door. Some people really, really don't like it. I think it's such a smart feature. And I like it because it just cuts down on so much foot traffic in the RV. It eliminates so much dirt from the RV. Now, if you look at this, you don't see anywhere to put a ladder on the back of the camper. The Classics don't have an overt ladder prep, but they do have structures, backers built in the wall to accept a ladder install if you are so inclined. The roof is walkable as well. That will never change. Hey everybody, so I made a mistake, and I think it's a potentially significant mistake. I've never claimed to be perfect, but if I get something wrong, it's never by intention, and I always try to leave you with the correct information. I got about halfway through the day before I learned these Bullet Classic models have actually reverted to a classic non-walk-on roof construction. Several times, I think in this video, I made specific mention that, oh, it's ladder prepped and it is a walkable roof. In the case of a Bullet Crossfire or Bullet Premium, that is correct. For a Bullet Classic, that is not correct. And that error is on me, but I don't want my mistake to become your problem on one of these. So if that's a deal breaker for you, I 1000% get it and respect it. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. But if you at least appreciate owning up to it and making sure we get it right when we make a mistake, maybe just drop me a little note that says, hey, thank you for that. And we'll keep on moving on. It's a single sewer outlet kind of camper, which I do really appreciate. So the underbelly is enclosed, it's forced air heated, and you only have to worry about dealing with a single crap tap, ladies and gentlemen. Now, just above that, this right here might be the saving grace for this floor plan for a lot of people. We kind of touched on it inside, but here's more of what I mean. There's going to be a lot of people that look at this and say, ooh, I don't like the bunks. Can I get it without the bunks? Can you do something else instead of the bunks? The factory only builds it the way that we're looking at it right here. But if you don't care for the bunks, they could be removed. Either we could remove them for you, or you could have them removed, or do it yourself, I suppose, depending on what you are capable of handling. So if you wanted to convert that over into like a little office or craft space, there's nothing under the bunks preventing you from doing that. I also heard some RV dealer feeding these people this line of cockamamie bull crap. They said, well, if you take the bunks down, then the walls are just all gonna fall down. No, they're not. That's such stupid garbage. That's just not how RV construction works. That's just a lazy idiot who's trying to say whatever is convenient for them to get you to buy the stupid thing. That's what that is. So if you don't want the bunks there, take the bunks out. Little sewer hose tube is kind of a nice find right there. Next to our on-demand water heater, you got your black tank flush and whatnot. This smaller pass-through baggage door on this side, only has a key lock. It doesn't have a like a clasp latch or anything like that. I don't necessarily love that, but I don't know that it's the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination either. Like, I can deal with it. I don't love it. I tend to use the other side more anyway, so it's probably fine, and I'm just being old man grumpy pants. Back in my day, baggage stores always had the latches, and going camping only cost 25 cents. So double check the links in the video description. You'll see where we have one of these parked, the rough going asking price of them. Also, I'll leave you links to videos of similar floor plans I've done from other builders. Again, whether it's one of ours, a bunch of different ones. I could probably think of 3 or 4 right now offhand. I might dig up more by the time I put this video together. I'm not sure. And if I forget, leave me a note, go, hey dummy, you left the links out, which I won't even be offended if you say it just like that. I just gave you permission. And until next time, remember, we don't do hidden dealer fees. We'll winterize your RV for you at no charge every single year. Just trying to make the camping experience better, simpler, easier for you. Because God forbid, you just go camping and have fun. Isn't that the whole point? When you're ready, we're ready. And until then, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.